New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
And as the thousands cheer in the background, here on your New Thought Media Network. Now we're recording this on Monday. So, but I wanted to have our guest on because we're both going to be very busy next week. My guest for this full hour. Yes, no news tonight. Aren't you happy about that? That we're not having any news? I knew you would be happy about that. So, but for the full hour here, we're going to have the president of the International New Thought Alliance, their president, the Reverend Dr. Tim Stewart, will be our very, very special guest here, and we're talking about the 108th Annual World Congress of INTA, and that's going to be held the week of July 17th through the 20th down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So we'll be talking with Reverend Dr. Tim Stewart here in just a moment. How are you this evening? Yeah, you can just go. I know that you all wanted me to comment on the news, but you know, just turn on the news and pray for everyone. That's my advice this evening is if you are missing my news portion, just go ahead, turn the news on, and that's your prayer request form for the week. Well, anyhow, good to have everyone with us this evening. And again, for the full hour here, it is my pleasure all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Here he is, the Reverend Dr. Tim Stewart, who is the illustrious head of the International New Thought Alliance, which will be having their 108th Congress. How about that? Down at Sunshine Cathedral in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Dr. Tim, welcome to the New Thought Media Network and also to the Friday Evening Fireside Chat.
Thank you, Reverend Michael. I am so happy to be here. And I'm, when you say the 108th Annual Congress, that it is, but I'll point out it's our 109th year. We have a Congress every year. We missed 1 year during World War II. So other than that, we've always had one. And then, of course, next year will be our 110th anniversary. So we've just got a lot of big things planned. And right now we're focused on our event in Florida and looking forward to seeing you there.
Oh, I just had a meeting with the Reverend Robert Brzezinski. And so I'm on the media team. And so we'll be going ahead and streaming from the Congress for those people who are able to pick us up. Now, let's say that they cannot come to the Congress. Is there information that they can get to stream?
Absolutely. If they go, first of all, they'll need to go to newthoughtevents.org. All right, newthoughtevents.org. And on that page, they have the opportunity to register for the Congress. And when they register, one of those options is to register for the virtual Congress. And that will allow them to have links that will go to all of the different things that we have online, even our banquet. All of it will be streamed for them, and they can watch it as it happens.
So again, try to make it in person. We're going to try. If you're, if you're still on the fence about going or not going, just come. But if you have to, then you can go on, again, I'm showing the website here, newthoughtevents.org, and then you can get more information. Dr. Tim, tell us a little bit more about INTA for those who are not familiar with the organization.
Well, in our materials, and for years, INTA has been referred to as an umbrella organization for New Thought. And sometimes that's a little deceiving because we don't have any control over the organizations that are also members. We have, for example, the Association of Unity Churches, the Centers for Spiritual Living, the Universal Foundation for Better Living, the affiliated New Thought Network, and I'm probably, I am leaving out several because the list is too long to name all the different organizations. But
Divine Science International.
Pardon?
Divine
Divine Science Federation International. I guess I should mention that one. Since I served 6 years as their president, I should remember them. But Divine Science Ministers Association also. All these different organizations are members, and they run their own things. We don't ordain ministers. That's something that's done by other organizations.
Yes.
But we try to bring them all together in a way of working together in collaboration to recognize a larger community. Then we have individual members, which may be part of any of those, but they also believe in the vision that we have. And they get to, of course, our New Thought magazine that we publish. They get copies of that. And it's all about coming together and understanding that we are one. So many times they think of those divisions. And while we have those things that make us unique, I tell people, you can go to, and I'll use the two names that probably stand out to most people, which are the Centers for Spiritual Living and Unity. And you're going to find some things, a little difference in the cultures within the churches and maybe some of the words that are used, but the truth that they teach is absolutely the same. So we have the different organizations because wherever you feel that you are best fed and best nourished, that's where you should be. But when we all come together and work together, we like for INTA to be an organization that helps facilitate that.
If you have never been to an INTA event, please go. And I think I was talking with you last night, Dr. Tim. I think you were a little bit surprised that I have been going to INT events for well over 10, 11 years now. And the reason being was because I was running the teaching chapter for Centers for Spiritual Living here in Akron. And unfortunately, there was not a whole lot of resources that would feed me as far as being the spiritual head of the organization. I had to be a minister in CSL. So instead, I would go to INTA events and welcomed always there as a colleague. People went out of their way to help, give me their phone number saying, whatever that you need, just give us a call. Again, just very, very grateful to that organization and to everyone. I got a chance to talk with Dr. Mays before he made his transition. And he was the president for a long time of INTA. So again, it's just really, I just lots of gratitude to INTA. And I want to just say to you, thank you for setting up my graduation last year in Chicago. What happened is that they sent my master's degree from Holmes Institute, and I called up my dean, and she said, well, you're on your own as far as your graduation. And so I said, oh, that's interesting. So I remembered that on Thursday afternoons that it wasn't that busy and that they usually had ordinations, usually from Divine Science. And I said, well, I wonder if Tim could squeeze us in. And they graciously did that. Now, I'll tell you what, for me, that was a high point, not only in ministry, but in my life. So thank you very much for setting that up last year.
Well, you're welcome. And I was very happy and honored to do that. You made a statement earlier about not having resources because you had to be a minister. And because INTA doesn't do an ordination program, you'll find that when you come, it's not about us trying to define who you are. We say, you know who you are. You know what you are in life. Be that thing that you know, okay? Don't wait for someone else's opinion to approve you. So therefore, when you come in, we're not going to judge you by any other thing. We want you to be you. And as I often tell people, and I tell them, I said, don't believe the lie, because all your life you've been told no one is perfect, but you are perfectly you. And that is all you're ever required to be in life. So we want you to come, we want you to be yourself, and know that you are going to be loved, you are going to be accepted, and you're going to be embraced by people who love you and want to support you. Because again, it is all about sharing this teaching that's changed the lives of so many people. It's
Yes.
about sharing that and promoting that teaching throughout the world.
And one of the honors of being involved with this media network, New Thought Media Network, is that we get to cover such wonderful events as the INTA Annual World Congress. So tell us about your theme for this year, Beacon of Love, Shining Together in Consciousness. How did you choose that for this theme for this year?
That was working together within our board. We came up with that. A beacon should shine. It sends a message. When you see a beacon, if you have ever done any aviation, a beacon can give you a lot of information about where you are and how to proceed. So if we're going to be that beacon in shining truth, we will do that together in consciousness, which brings me to something that I want to mention. If you're there on opening night, you'll hear me address this as well. But we are an organization that does believe in that together portion of it, all right, as well. And as we came together with that theme, at that point in time, a lot of things that have occurred had not occurred. Right now, in the state of Florida, there are a lot of things that, we have people who ask us, why did we choose there?
I was going to ask that question, but go ahead. You may answer that.
It was chosen before a lot of the current items in the news had happened. All right. But we absolutely, just for anyone who doesn't know it, Sunshine Cathedral is a church that caters, basically. They are an LGBTQ church. And they do, if you're about to pull their website up, that's great. But Sunshine Cathedral is that type community. We're going there. We're in support of them. We are in support of everyone who believes in inclusion and diversity. And so INTA has always done that. We're going to continue doing that. And as a matter of fact, on Tuesday evening, we do receive an offering in our evening services. And the offering that evening is going to be divided between some organizations that are already doing the work of inclusion and diversity within the state of Florida. So we're making a statement. We chose that location beforehand, and it was not practical for us to change it. But we are going to make that statement. And for those who choose to go virtual, they're going to have the opportunity to participate in that as well. So I believe what we say we have in consciousness, and when we say together, it's about realizing that today, if something affects my brothers and sisters who are people of color, or whether they're as an African American, or if they're Latino, or if they're LGBTQ, it doesn't matter. If it is something that affects their ability to live their life as they see fit, then it's something that also is infringing on my rights to do the same. That's about being together, and we have to have that consciousness of togetherness. So now you've heard my little sermonette, but
should I take a free offering?
Absolutely, you can have another one. And never take an offering, receive it.
Receive an offering.
You are receiving it because it is a blessing that's coming to whatever purpose it is that it's being given.
If you wonder what you've tuned into this evening, hello there. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. I am honored to have with us this evening the Reverend Dr. Tim Stewart, who is the president, the esteemed president of the International New Thought Alliance, who will be holding its annual Congress in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That'll be next week. Dr. Stewart, again, I got asked that question about Florida. And they said, why do you want to go down there? And I was a little taken aback, and I'm going, huh? Well, we're going down there to support our brothers and sisters of the LGBTQ plus community, and we're going to probably the epicenter of one of the largest, if not the largest, gay church in the world. So I think that, again, that's, I mean, I know in the past that some organizations, because of some rulings in New Thought, I'm not going to mention them, but they went ahead and they boycotted certain events. I get that, or certain states, but I really admire that we're going down there as a community from all kinds of new thought to gather in one place and to support our brothers and sisters there. Now, again, on Tuesday evening, you said that there's going to be a special offering. Could you talk more about that?
Well, yes, we've, as you said, we chose that venue back in 2021, or 2022. And at that time, there were a lot of things that are now in the news and are now issues that are social issues in our country. They hadn't, I hate to put it this way, they hadn't quite reared their ugly head so much. And now they have. And these issues are things that normally New Thought organizations would look at that. And many of them would say, no, we'd already made the commitment. Sunshine Cathedral is an absolutely magnificent venue. I've had events there before. It works for INTA, and there were a lot of INTA people excited about going. So as things changed, we were not going to change something with an event that, number one, we already were invested in. We had already announced, and something that we planned in conjunction. The host church is always very important. If we do it at a church, sometimes we've done it at venues that were hotels. Mm-hmm. The last time we were in Fort Lauderdale was 2010.
Okay.
And Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, who is the senior minister at Sunshine Cathedral, was the Congress chair that year. But it was held at the Hyatt Regency Pier 66 Resort. It was not held in a church. It works better for us sometimes to be in a church venue, so that's what we are this year. And again, it's similar to this. Today, if you have someone who falls out of a boat and they're drowning, you don't say, well, that water is muddy, so I'm not getting in it. Instead, you're going to stand with that person, do everything you can to support them in getting out. And so therefore, we stand with a position of love, acceptance, inclusion, diversity. Those are words that describe INTA, and we intend to make our presence there an example of that. So,
yes, and I think that that's wonderful that it wasn't canceled from down there, and that we're going down there again as New Thought people to, again, not only to celebrate the annual Congress, but also to support our brothers and sisters in the Fort Lauderdale area and also around the world. So tell us, Dr. Tim, What are some of the activities that people will be experiencing as they come to the Congress this year?
Oh, if you're talking about experiences, the Congress itself is packed with some really great speakers. We have our opening night, which is going to be a great deal of music. If anyone that's listening is familiar with Eddie Watkins, he is absolutely amazing, and he is going to be with us all. Yeah, I wondered you didn't know that.
Eddie's going to be there?
That is a new development.
Oh, wow.
In the past week, he is going to be there with us all week, and absolutely, and one of the most amazing musicians. We have Reverend Dale Worley, and he may shoot me for this. He won't shoot me, but he may let me know he didn't appreciate it. But we do have a nickname for him because of his musical thing. We sometimes call him Reverend Delvis. So that gives you an idea of his musical talent. Okay.
Reverend Delvis.
Yes. No one's to call him that, but he's known that on occasion simply because he is a piano player and a singer. You just absolutely amazing. And not only is he may dabble some in the music, because Reverend Christy Snow is our music director, okay, for it, but he may get in and out with the music some, but he's also going to be one of our speakers. This is his first time to ever speak at a live Congress. He did speak during COVID during one, but this is his first time to speak at a live Congress. So we're looking forward to that. Our opening night, we're going to have 2 speakers on our opening night, along with a lot of music. And those are going to be my wife's husband is going to be speaking.
Okay.
You had to look up to think about that for a moment.
Yeah, I had to go and say, I wonder who that would be. Now, was there money exchanged to get this guy in or this person in?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
But as president, I will.
You speaking on Tuesday night?
No, on Monday night, which is our opening night, is Monday night, and I will speak, and Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins will speak. And if you have never heard Reverend Darrell speak, you're in for an absolute treat. He is totally amazing. We had him here in Nashville a few weeks ago, and I laid aside everything else to make sure that I was present for that. So
yes, he was speaking in drag.
Well, that is a fact. Okay.
to protest what's going on in Tennessee. Yep. So,
but he did an absolute. He had an absolute wonderful message, and since it's available online, I can share his last thing. And this is something that New Thought people, if you're familiar with New Thought, you will really get this, because as he did that and did a absolutely astounding message. Okay, and at the end, the closing line was this. He says, "Because after all, we all are only God in drag." And I thought, what a wonderful way to put that. Because we're God dressed up in this human form, you know. So Darrell is amazing. And he will be speaking. He is also now the president of the Divine Science Federation International. Mm-hmm. He was the vice president when I left, and then he was elected president after me. I term limited out there. And then we also, I will speak, and he will speak on that opening night. We will start off on our Tuesday morning with a panel called Outside the Bubble. And that is led by Reverend Dr. Bill Marcioni. And Reverend Bill is known to many people if they happen to have a service called God Calls, because he does a recording that goes out. I get them, and it's a little short 30-second inspirational message that he records, and then a dialing system spreads it. And it's a great way to have a little moment of inspiration during the day. But Reverend Bill is from New Thought, Philly. He is one of our board members, but he's also on the board of Anton, the affiliated New Thought Network. And he does some work with New Thought Media Network as well, I understand.
Practical Prayer, which is on Mondays. on New Thought Media Network. Go ahead.
He wrote a book on practical prayer, and absolutely amazing. We taught courses from that book, used it as our textbook on teaching prayer in the Center for Spiritual Living Church, where I was for several years, and taught from that book. And then, but on that panel, I know we're going to have Reverend Durrell again, will be on that panel. Reverend Dr. Sheila McKeithen will be on that panel, who is the president of the Universal Foundation for Better Living. She holds some amazing awards that will be in her bio. I don't have it in front of me, so rather than misstate something, I'll just simply say her bio is extremely impressive.
Just come to the Congress. All right.
Come to the Congress.
Just come to the Congress. Reverend Dr. Sheila is one of the top 3 speakers I've ever heard in New Thought. She is just absolutely remarkable. So again, already you should be packing your bags and coming down to Florida next week already, just based upon what Dr. Tim has told you. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because Reverend Sheila is one of the favorites when we talk to people who are at Congresses, and she's there. She's always one of the favorites. And this year, due to some other commitments, she's not going to be able to stay the entire week with us as she usually does. So she's on that panel on Tuesday morning, and immediately following that panel, then she will be an individual speaker. So you'll get to see a lot of her on that Tuesday morning. We'll have a workshop in the afternoon with Shakira Taylor. She is the spouse of Reverend Charles Taylor.
Yes.
At the Universal Foundation for Better Living Church there in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. So we'll have her. We'll have evenings. That evening, we'll have Reverend Shad Groverland, who is the leader for Unity Worldwide Ministries. We will have Reverend Charles Taylor, who I just mentioned, his wife Shakira, doing the workshop on Tuesday afternoon. He will be speaking that night. And the list goes on. How much of this do you want me to tell? Do you want me to name them all?
Listen, I want everyone to go ahead and to have their mouth drooling here and to start saying, you know what? I think I can drop a few things next week and either be online or to come down to Fort Lauderdale and to enjoy this. Because let me just say, going to an INTA event, if you are someone who is alignment with us, even if you're not, I think that it's just a wonderful event. You get to meet individuals just like you from not only around the United States, but from around the world. You get to meet colleagues from Europe. You get to meet colleagues from Africa, from all over the places that people come to this, to the Congress, again, to not only to celebrate, but also to be together with like-minded people for the week. And it is a life-changing event. So tell us more about what's going on Wednesday here.
Okay. Wednesday morning, we start off with another panel. That's something that's been very popular at a previous Congress. And this one is going to be led by Reverend Dr. Jackie Atkins. Now, this one focuses on New Thought education. This started last year. Reverend Bill led that panel last year. This year, Reverend Dr. Jacqueline Trish Atkins. She always likes to put the Trish in there as well. So Reverend Dr. Jacqueline Trish Atkins will be leading it. But the panelists will be Shad Groverland, I just mentioned, Jerry Troyer, and Anna Price, Darrell Watkins. So those, and I'll mention a little bit more about Jerry a little bit later. And Shad, I mentioned earlier, the other two. Following that panel that morning, we have a speaker who is Reverend Patricia Wagner. Okay. And now I'll have to say this. Reverend Patricia happens to be someone that was a licensed Unity teacher. She is ordained divine science. and I was really thrilled. She asked to speak there. She's been a speaker on TED Talks. She has several online programs that she does called Heart-Centered Gratitude. I'm proud enough of her that I will even say that when she was ordained, I was her teacher in divine science. So I was the one that did that, and we ordained her at Unity Village several years ago during an Anton. I believe that was I think it was an Anton conference. I'll have to look back and try to remember everything that was, but I believe that's correct. Okay, so it may have been a divine science, but it was at Unity Village several years ago. I'm very proud of her. She has done quite well. She is going to do a workshop she's going to do a talk. She has a workshop that's based on this talk as well, but it's not. She's not doing the workshop. She's doing a talk. You will absolutely love her, right? And then as we move on to the afternoon on that day, on Wednesday, we will have our INTA business meeting in the afternoon, and we'll have our district president. So we don't have a speaker selection that day. That's strictly our business portion that's required for INTA to do.
Already, Robert told me, he says, you think you're getting an afternoon off? He said, you can forget it. I have production for you to do.
Yes.
So no, that's again, if you are not involved again in the meeting, you can go enjoy Fort Lauderdale. Lots of good places to be there. The beach is there. You can also wonderful places to eat down there, and just the people down there in Fort Lauderdale are absolutely amazing. So go ahead.
Yes, those who aren't taking part in the business meeting, and all of our members are welcome to be there. But if you're not taking part, there's a lot to do. But Reverend Michael, we have some time built into the schedule for people to get out. That's one of the things that people like when they go to our events. They want to also see something about the area where they are. So whatever they do on Wednesday, if they choose to go out, and there are some fabulous restaurants, don't eat so much that you don't want to be back that evening, because we have an absolutely great evening again. Following that, we're going to have Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer, president of Anton, there. And so that is going to be, he is also another tremendous speaker. You will love him. Our other speaker that evening is going to be Reverend Skip Jennings, who is the CSL minister there. He comes with a background from Agape. And we are just always happy to have someone who has those Agape roots or Agape backgrounds as well. So we have someone basically trying to get someone from all the different organizations. We did that last year, and we're going to redouble our efforts on it. So that goes through our Wednesday. Thursday, which is the final day, we will start our morning. There's a special presentation that, again, that we were allowing because each of these groups being represented. Durrell was representing Sunshine Cathedral on our opening night, welcoming us to the home of the church where he is the minister. And Reverend Patricia is representing Divine Science Ministers Association. So Durrell has something in mind that will be the two of us together, as we have it on our schedule right now, as the first thing on Thursday morning. Then we will have Reverend Dale Worley. Then we're going to have Reverend Elizabeth Longo. Okay. Dale, as I mentioned, absolutely dynamite. You're going to love him. Reverend Elizabeth is someone that I don't personally know. I have heard her name, and it's always been these wonderful accolades. But I had one of our speakers who called me over the weekend, and I could tell in his voice there was something there, and he said, "I'm in Spain." And I said, "Spain? Okay." And apparently, I have the feeling he just said he had some conflicts in his calendar and was going to have to not make it. I have a feeling he may have done something that I've done in the past, Dennis, and that is I put the date down that I'm leaving for a trip, but I don't mark out necessarily every day I'm gone. So, but there were other things. So, Reverend Elizabeth, and I'm really excited about hearing her because, again, I've only heard wonderful and great things. And she was willing to step in right then and accept that invitation. And I'm just so grateful for her. So that's going to be the Thursday morning. We will have time, and this is basically all of the sessions. We're going to have some time for Q&A. So if people want to ask the speakers questions, if they hear something new or different, we like that. It's a something we've tried, and people again like it because it gives them a chance to be a little interactive. And sometimes they hear something a little differently than they've heard it, and they want to know exactly what it means. So we do have those question and answer times. And then on Thursday, once we finish with our morning, we are encouraging people to get out, go to the beach if you like. There are some fabulous beaches there. If the beach is too warm or not your thing, there are great restaurants, many things to see and do around the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. So enjoy your afternoon, have a good lunch, but save some room for your dinner. Because we have our awards banquet, on Thursday night. So we do have live music that's going to be there. This is something that I just heard, and they're talking about possibly getting a portion of that music done by Eddie Watkins. And so this is music that, and believe me, this is kind of not like church music. This is going to be like music you can get up and dance to.
Have you ever heard Eddie do just secular music?
I have heard Eddie enough. I am so looking forward to this. Okay.
No, don't pigeonhole Eddie Watkins Jr. and just, I know that he's a music director for Unity Church, and I know that he's well known in New Thought, but I'm going to tell you something that if you watched a few weeks ago, the house concert that we had on New Thought Media Network from Reverend Robert and also Laura's home, it was amazing because he did the last half of the program. He did secular music and everyone was singing along. So again, if you're not, drop everything that you're doing next week. Just call your board president, call everyone, just say, listen, I'm going down to Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to be down there for the INTA conference. And I'm telling you, it is a life-changing event going. But go ahead, tell us more about the banquet.
We'll have the banquet. We'll have, of course, we call it our awards banquet. So we have some things going out. As you said, we'll also have some music that comes from some of the talent there at Sunshine Cathedral. So the Eddie Watkins thing is just something I was asked about yesterday, and I said, absolutely, you have my approval. So they're working on that. We have a lifetime, I call it a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's called the Torchbearer Award. And this year we are awarding that to the Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse. So he will be receiving that award. And his wonderful wife, the Reverend Dr. Barbara Waterhouse, made her transition earlier this year.
Yes.
But when I would talk to people about, who Reverend Barbara and Dr. Barbara, they would say so many different things. But everyone without exception talked about what a wonderful teacher she is. And she recorded the first year Science of Mind classes, which is part of the CSL curriculum. Okay, if people aren't familiar, Science of Mind is the CSL teaching.
Yes.
And when she recorded those, she made them available online. Now, Emma Curtis Hopkins is referred to as the teacher of teachers in the history of New Thought. Emma Curtis Hopkins. I will have to say that Dr. Barbara didn't fall far behind that, because Science of Mind, or CSL ministers, many of them said before they would teach that first year of classes, they would often go back and refresh themselves on it by watching her videos.
Yes.
And she influenced so many ministers within the CSL movement. Just an absolutely amazing woman. I was privileged to know her, and matter of fact, went over and spoke at their church a year or so ago when they were there in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yes.
So we are posthumously awarding her the Reverend Dr. J. Scott Neal Legacy Award, which goes to someone that's teaching. So, Dr. Waterhouse, Dr. John Waterhouse will be accepting those awards, his and the one that on her behalf, and will be speaking that night. And we will have wonderful meal that's going on. I won't go into the menu, but we have a great meal that's going on. It will be a plated dinner.
It's good. It's great. Go ahead.
Right. And then we're going to have some music and dancing and celebration. And again, I look forward to it, and I'm inviting everybody, come on down, because it will definitely, I've never, ever, and I've been to these things for years. I'm amazed that you and I didn't know each other a lot sooner, because, as many of them as I went to, long before I was ever even on the board of INT, let alone the president of it. And in all those years, I never went to one that I didn't come away from it feeling like I had received something that had strengthened and renewed and refreshed something in me. I heard something that nourished me on a spiritual level. I got to spend time with friends and colleagues that I don't see other than at that Congress.
Yes.
And it is an amazing experience. The Crown Plaza Hotel, where we will be staying, that's our main hotel. We do have an agreement with the Hampton as well. And both of these hotel links are on our website. When you're doing registration. But if you are there, it's really neat. You get to go down and have breakfast that morning with your friends, and you start off your day not listening to I'm like a lot of people in the mornings. I want to know a little bit about what's going on in the world. Well, you get to block all that negativity out that you sometimes hear in the news, and you talk with people who are feeding and enriching you with their conversations that morning, and you get to be in that environment all week long. It's amazing.
And I think that, yes, that's what I'm saying. If you're not, if you have something that you think is important next week and you're not coming down to Fort Lauderdale, please pray about it and just come down. I'm telling you, it is life-changing. INTA events, again, you will get to meet all sorts of people. And again, that like what Dr. Tim was saying, again, from all the New Thought organizations and even some independent ministries that you would not normally be able to, just in your own little bubble of your denomination, that you would not have the opportunity to meet. So it is really life-changing. And again, the colleagues, the friendships, the people that you'll meet, again, you'll come away from the week again feeling really refreshed and renewed, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So Dr. Tim, tell us a little bit about so if people really want to come down, so if do we have any kind of hotel deals for them still?
Actually, the hotel prices have come down because tourism is not exactly what it was or what they were expecting. Okay, so actually the hotel rates right now are about $50 per night less than what they were expecting when we first booked this event. So unfortunately, that's on the hotels. There's nothing I can do about that. So anyone who did that, we had a rate that was lower than what they were planning on having at this time. Right. And now it's even lower than that. So last week during our board meeting, one of our board members, and we do meet through Zoom. So one of our board members switched over and looked, and when they went through the link on the website, they were actually given a room for less than $100 a night if you wanted to book one. Now, I'm not saying that that's what it's going to be. They change those rates daily, but that's what it was that particular day.
Folks, this is Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Okay. This is sunshine. This is 90-degree temperature. So well, for less than $100, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So that you can't really beat that. And there's, as I said, there's also the Hampton Inn there, which is a little closer to the church. Doesn't have a restaurant and a lounge within it. So we like to sit around sometimes in the evenings after service and enjoy our fellowship with each other. So you'll have that ability at the Crown, and that's the reason we chose it. We also, I'll throw this in. If you attend this year's Congress and you are there in person, we always have done a door prize. You get a little ticket and you put in there, and we put the other stuff in, and we have drawings. So this year, our top prize will be a full registration to the 2024 Congress at Unity Village.
No.
Yes, that's our top one.
Wow.
Okay. And then we're going to do a second prize, which is a half off of a full Congress registration. So those are some great. We have some other things. We have some books and things that will also be door prizes. But be there, attend the banquet, okay? Because we give those away. You get great food, you get great entertainment. You hear some great inspiration. John Waterhouse, great speaker, but you get to do that, and then we all let our hair down. One year, many years ago, we even had an Elvis impersonator for our entertainment. So,
and again, this is something that if this is for everyone. You don't have to be a minister. You don't have to be, just someone who not only loves his teaching, but you will get so much. Again, the speakers here are world class. You'll be at a world class church, which is probably the most liturgical New Thought church that I know. They celebrate communion on Sundays. I don't think we'll have the opportunity to experience that, but they do. And they're considered a New Thought church. Go ahead, Dr. Tim.
Okay, yeah, I'm just chomping at the bit when you say that, because the first time I went down to Sunshine Cathedral and I saw that, my eyes probably were about 3 times the size they are now, because I opened them wide. I'd never seen that in New Thought. And as I noticed, it's absolutely genius. It's a wonderful, wonderful setting, because number one, you don't have to be into that type of, liturgical setting to feel comfortable and at home. It's basically an LGBTQ church. You can be as straight as an arrow and you feel right at home. I don't care who you are. And somebody asked me how I felt going there. I said, it's simple. When you love them, they love you back, regardless of who them is, because after all, remember, we're all one. But, when you emanate love, love comes back to you.
Yes.
So go with an attitude and a consciousness of love. You will enjoy it. You'll love it. But the genius of this, and I'll share this story about my first time walking in. I noticed that on the back wall, they had made these little holders out of wood. They were obviously something that someone had made. And the shelf would stick out, but it had a hole in it. And that hole is exactly where this little bowl would sit. And there was water there. And Reverend Durrell would bless it, and so many people. He is in Fort Lauderdale. There's a large percentage of the people there who are Latino. There are people who came from very traditional style churches that because of their sexual orientation, they were rejected and found themselves without a spiritual home. and knowing that people feel most comfortable when they're around something that makes it feel familiar. You can walk by them and pay them no attention, but for those who came up in those traditions, they have holy water back there. And if you were to turn off the sound and watch them on Sunday morning, and it would depend, because when it's really hot, he may go up in a Hawaiian style shirt or a t-shirt. And if everyone knows what a dickie is, it's basically a clergy collar that just barely covers this area, and you put another shirt over it. Okay. They may be wearing just something like that under a t-shirt, or under a collared shirt, not a t-shirt, but a collared shirt like this, or and a pair of short pants, as hot as it is there sometimes. Okay. Yes. Or it could be in full ecclesiastical garb. So when they're doing that, if they were in that full garb, you might look and you would think you were watching, the Catholic or Episcopal churches, something like this. But if you turned off the picture and you listen only to the message, you would believe you are in any New Thought church in America, because the message is New Thought and everything else. Because, regardless what we add to our message, and this is something that I'll say, in one particular church, there was a big thing. The older people liked a certain style of music, and they weren't really attracting a lot of new people because it wasn't what new people wanted to hear. Younger crowd. And one person who was there said that their teaching wasn't about that kind of music. But the same person wanted hot dog dinners, or hot dogs served after service, of all things. And I said, I bet if I got in your car, you wouldn't have your radio on certain types of music. I said, but if we went by a hot dog stand, you'd probably like one. I said, it's about what you like. The hot dog's not part of the teaching either. We do those things to create fellowship and to attract people in. We do them because, again, and you mentioned earlier about spiritual music versus secular music.
Yes.
The first New Thought church I was ever a part of was a religious science church, what was then RSI, Religious Science International, which now is part of CSL. But the church kind of had a theme song. And that theme song, to me, has one of the deepest spiritual meanings. And I was a traditional minister, so I heard all of the traditional songs. It probably has a deeper spiritual meaning to me than any song I've ever heard. And it's that Johnny Nash song, I Can See Clearly Now. I can see clearly now. All right. And that song, and if you listen to the words, is a very spiritual song.
Yes, it is. And
many, many songs out there are. At Sunshine, when you are there, our music team will be a different music team than their normal one. But at Sunshine, you might go in and hear a song like that, or you might hear something that sounds very traditional that they've changed the words to fit New Thought truth. And it's amazing. So, if you get down a little bit early and you're there to go by and spend Sunday morning at Sunshine Cathedral on the day before, we don't open to Monday night, but go down on Sunday and be at Sunshine. I promise you will enjoy it. You'll feel loved. You'll feel appreciated. You'll feel accepted. And you will have something that will feed you spiritually.
We are almost out of time. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Boy, an hour goes by quick. Let me just go ahead and put this back up on the screen here. If you go to, and I'll go ahead and also put the banner up here too.
Can you click on New Thought 2023 World Congress? Can you click on that?
Okay, yeah, that's there. And where did you want me to go?
And then just go right down where it says register.
Okay, and I will click on that.
Luminaries will show you some of the teaching, some of the speakers and things like that. And then if you scroll down, scroll down on the page. You've already clicked register.
Oh, okay, all right. So just scroll down there.
Yeah, and then you click to register. Okay, it will take you to Eventbrite, and you can make anything from the Congress itself in person or online, because we want you to be there in person. And if you're not going to be able to be there in person, join us online. And
yeah, for some reason, hold on here. Let me just, well, I'm trying to get come on here. It's on the other page. Well, anyhow, just go here. Let me just see. The register is there. Okay, click to register, and it's not coming up. All right.
Actually, if you do that, it'll show you, and you have different pricing options, things like that. You get to choose your menu of what you want to eat at the banquet.
Reverend Dr. Tim Stewart, thank you very much. Again, if you go to New Thought events, if you're not able to be there in person, please buy an online ticket. Be there. New Thought Media Network will be there specifically to stream the event. It's going to be just a wonderful time. You will be refreshed, renewed. You will, there's not enough words to say about being together in this wonderful organization called INTA. So again, go to New Thought events. Again, either click to register to be in there in person, or you can also, again, click to register to be online. And we will, it's not like being there, but again, you can be there in your jammies if you want and have your cup of coffee and then enjoy the Congress that way. Reverend Dr. Tim Stewart, thank you so very much. Thank you for your friendship, your leadership. Looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the colleagues next week down in Fort Lauderdale. And who knows what we're going to do production-wise. I was just on the phone with another Zoom call with Robert, and you never know what we're going to do next week. But he already told me Wednesday afternoon you're going to be producing. I said, all right. So, but it's going to be a great week down there. Sunshine, 90 degrees all week long. Please come down, or again to come online. Dr. Tim Stewart, again, thank you so very much, and we will see you next week.
All right, I will see you then.
All right, and just hang out there. I'll be right with you here. And again, thank you for being with us this evening. If you would like, again, more information about what we do here at New Thought Media Network, please go to ntmedia.org. There you can go ahead and go on the donate button. And again, please consider giving some type of donation to really to help the world. You serve the world when you give here, because again, this message goes around the world. So again, ntmedia.org/donate. On behalf of myself and also the Reverend Dr. Tim Stewart, I am Reverend Michael Mangus. I'm going to wish you a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.